Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of a new action RPG titled Weird West. And you might not know this about me, but my favorite genre of movie is westerns. And anytime a video game has a western theme, well, it piques my interest. And that is what this game has done. Now, the publisher for Weird West is Devolver Digital, and it's created by the co-creators of Dishonored and Prey. And I would say it kind of has that Darkest Dungeon visuals to it. Hand-drawn, looks very clean. And we're going to start this video with actually a cinematic for Weird West, because I think it's going to help reel you in a little bit about what this game is all about. Now, before I play that cinematic, I've been saying at the beginning of all my videos, right now 30% of all of my views come from subscribers, which means 70% of my views come from non-subscribers. If today is the day that I have earned it, please push that little red button, that subscribe button. It means a lot, goes a long ways, but again, only if I deserve it. As always, I will share my thoughts. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section below. Here we go.
The West, the land of opportunity. A place where you can be a hero, a scoundrel, and anything in between. This ain't quite the Wild West as you know it. There are ancient powers at war with each other. Strange entities lurking in the dead of night with their own rules and their own peculiar motives. Welcome to the Weird West. Here could be the best thing that ever happened to you. If you can survive, that is.
Maybe it's just my love for westerns, I don't know, but I love that cinematic. The way it's narrated, very spooky, very clean. Actually, maybe it reeled me in. I don't know if it reeled you in. Right now, we are on the official Steam page for Weird West. Now, again, this game drops January 11th, 2022. So it is right around the corner that you're going to be able to get your hands on Weird West. But I understand you still pretty much know nothing about it. So let's look at some details. Survive and unveil the mysteries of the Weird West through the intertwined destinies of its unusual heroes and an immersive sim from the co-creators of Dishonored and Prey. And this is labeled as an action RPG. Okay, it's isometric action RPG. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Now, this title is not like a $60 AAA, but it's also not like a $10 or $20 indie. It's going to cost you 40 bucks. So from Devolver, it's going to cost you $40. And if you pre-order it, of course, they give you a little bonus, your pre-purchase offer. Expand your storage on your unique horse Calamity, outfitted with a handy saddlebag and choice essentials to help you get a head start on your journey. Look at that pretty horse. If you need a head start, okay? About this game, here we go. About this game. Discover a dark fantasy reimagining of the Wild West where lawmen and gunslingers share the frontier with the fantastical creatures. Journey through the story of a group of atypical heroes written into legend by the decisions you make in an unforgiving land. Each journey is unique and tailored to the actions taken. A series of high-stakes adventures where everything counts and the world reacts to the choices you make. Form a posse or venture forth alone into an otherworldly confined of the Weird West and make each legend your own. So this game, okay, is one of those games where your choices matter in the world. Also, they're choices that cannot be undone, even through death. You make that choice, you respawn, choice cannot be made different. So the example is like, oh, fight the bandits or run away. And you hit fight the bandits, and then you die. You respawn, you're still fighting the bandits. You cannot run away. And the purpose of that is they want all your choices for you to think about. All your choices have consequences or rewards, right? So you really need to take your time as you play Weird West. And it just talks about it. Like I already read that. Intertwined destinies. Discover the world through the original stories of different characters, moving from one character's journey to the next until all converge in a final chapter. Each playthrough is unique. Immersive sim. Weird West supports different styles of play in a simulator sandbox where characters, factions, and even places react to players' decisions. And that's the idea of you could play with a posse, you could play lone, you could play rogue, you can go gunslinger. However you want to play, Weird West is going to let you do that. Players are faced with brutal choices and consequences that cannot be undone, including death. All right? And we all know that once we get an official Steam page, we need to look at system requirements. And there's something about the system requirements that makes me chuckle a little bit. So Windows 10, we always look at recommended. Processor Intel Core i7-6900 or Ryzen 7 2700, 12 gigs of RAM, GeForce GTX 1050 or RX 460, and storage 12 gigabytes of space. What makes me laugh is the system requirements and recommended is 12 gigabytes of RAM. And under minimum, it says 6, okay? 99.9% of all system requirements are either 8 or 16. Because those are basically how all the sticks are sold. 8, 16, 32. They jump up by 8s. Not for Weird West. It recommends 12 gigabytes. So maybe you're going to use... I don't even know how you can configure 12. Unless you're not using dual channel and you're running 2 different size sticks. I don't know. 12 gigs of RAM cracks me up. Okay? Now, let's hear from one of the developers about gameplay.
This is Raphael Colantonio, Creative Director and President of WolfEye Studios, and I'm here today to tell you about our current game in development, Weird West. At its core, Weird West is an action RPG set in a fantasy reimagining of the Wild West. You play through the adventures of 5 heroes that have intertwined destinies on a quest to unveil one of the biggest mysteries of the Weird West. While we described Weird West as an action RPG, some would actually refer to the game as an immersive sim. There are many elements that set Weird West apart from any other action RPG out there, and I would love to show you a few examples now. First, the simulation and sandbox nature of Weird West. The bulk of the team is composed of co-creators of Dishonored and Prey, so simulation is like a religion to us. It is in our DNA to let the players play their own way. Weird West is designed in a way that accommodates many playstyles and many playthroughs. Whether you like combat, or trickery, or stealth, or a mix of all of that, you'll enjoy experimenting with the tools the game offers in a system-rich and physically simulated world. Next, the setting and visual direction. The setting is Weird West, you guessed it. It's an opportunity for us to explore a genre that has been kept underground, and we're excited about bringing our own take on it. As far as the visuals, we're going for a mix of 3D with hand-drawn textures and uncommon palette that we think bring a unique style to the game. We want our world to be instantly recognizable and convey the mystery that is so important to the experience. Now, let's talk about how scripted versus how dynamic is the experience. While the game has a main quest, the events and the quests outside of the main path make use of what we call the conductor, which creates events and crafts a narrative that is specific to each playthrough. For example, let's say you kill one of these merchants while the other one escapes. The survivor will throw a vendetta at you, and chances are they'll ambush you later when you expect it the least. This participates to the feeling of a very tailored experience per player. Finally, one more thing I wanted to mention is that your actions are permanent in Weird West. While you may resurrect when killed, your companion won't resurrect if you did not have a chance to revive them on time. And whatever choices you've made will stay in the game. So stealing shops and killing people have consequences you cannot discard by coming back in time with a simple game reload. We think it is a powerful way to give meaning to your actions and keep the tension high. That's about it for today. We have a few more surprises that I can't wait to talk about, but we're keeping some of this for later. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. And please stay tuned for future news about Weird West.
You should now have a majority of the information on Weird West. But there's one last thing I have to disclose to you that I saw in doing my research for this video. Right now we're on the website Games Radar. Weird West hands-on, a top-down RPG that's incredibly immersive and very vibey. And I'm not going to read this article to you. I know it'd be super boring and it's very long, but the last paragraph is interesting. Listen to this. Vibes aside, Weird West combat is pretty challenging, especially for those of us who aren't the best at twin stick shooters. During my playthrough, I die more times than I can count, but the sheer variety in which I can approach an encounter keeps me from getting frustrated. I take a zombie miner beating at least a dozen times before I crack the encounter's code. But whereas this would make me walk away from a game like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Weird West keeps me weirdly invested. Twin stick shooter. Says it right there in Games Radar's playthrough of the game. And you gotta remember, this game is coming to PC and consoles. And twin stick shooters, you know, they're fine, right? Like, I mean, I've played lots of twin stick shooters, but obviously in a twin stick shooter, you're using WASD to move, not mouse and click Diablo-like. So it does feel very different. It'll feel like you're playing from a movement and combat perspective like The Ascent. If you are talking twin stick shooter, that is like kind of the most relevant game that has come out that will be like that, but obviously a Western theme and totally different visuals, just talking from a combat perspective. So this game is a twin stick shooter action RPG. I know some people like that, some people hate it. I'm just putting it out there. It's up for you to decide, but I want to know your opinion. Weird West dropping January 2022. Is this a game that you like? Did I pique your interest? Are you going to try it out? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm sure you've heard by now that I have officially started a Twitch, streaming on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, having so much fun with the ARPG community. First link in the description if you'd like to go there and support. I answer any questions that you have about any games. We create build guides together, give away every single stream. It's always a good time. If you haven't had a chance to join the official Action RPG Discord, please do so. We're now over 1,200 members, great conversations every day. The idea is to create a gaming community that could jump from game to game together, so you never start the server alone. Link for that Discord is also in the description. I hope you all enjoyed this video talking about Weird West. Hopefully you're entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.